All right, just getting my board back. I don't. It really has become a bit of a religious object for me, because it is literally made such a difference. And in this video, we're talking about the done hashtag yay, and I encourage you to put your own hashtag up there, something fun. Hannah, my eldest daughter, she popped in. She wrote that on the board, and I thought that's cool. So the done column. And guess what we put in here? Our done tasks. Cool. Here's the amazing reason why this is so important. I can't tell you how many private clients I've worked to and I get on a call and they just are frustrated and they go, oh, I got nothing done this week. It was just a disaster. It was a horrible week. And they're really down on themselves. And the week before they were super high because they felt they had done this, and this. And when I actually forensically go through with them and try to break down their week, it turns out that they actually did do quite a bit of stuff. It's not like they just sat in a chair and stuck their thumb in their mouth and rocked backwards and forwards. No, they actually had stuff done, but they forgot about it. And let me give you another one. And for you low follow-throughs, this is super huge, right? Have you ever been in a job or a position where you have to do an expense report? And have you ever been, particularly if you do it overseas, have you ever been in a situation where you collect your receipts, and if you do that enough, low follow-throughs may not even do this, but you collect your receipts and then you get home and then a week later oh God, I've got to put in the expense report. Urgh. And then you try to go through and remember. Do you remember how hard that was? It's a horrible experience. Now, you high follow-through types, you do it right on the spot, right? You fill in, you make the note on the receipt, you maybe use Snapshot, you've got the whole deal. You are sorted, okay, which is great. But 65 to 70% of you are not like that. I'm certainly not like that. But here's the really negative and in some ways insidious, and why this done column is so important is the other half of the Zeigarnik effect, which is not talked about as much, which is to free up our brain to process on the next thing, the next bushfire, the next thing that's happening, the next thing that we have to do. Unless something dramatic happened, and let's say the task completed successfully, unless there was some dramatic result, somebody literally gave you an award for it or anything, you will forget it. Your brain is designed to forget it. Because it's useless. There's no particular reaction. There was no emotional reaction to it. Your brain will forget. It's designed to do that. Now, of course, if you do a painful task, your brain remembers the pain. And if it stuffs up, you remember it stuffing up. You remember that intimately because of the emotional response it causes. But when you do something just successfully, a thing, and you don't record that it's been done, you forget. You just forget about it. And that is a tragedy, right? Because you need motivation. We need fuel for us to continue working on this and getting positive gains and results. By having a visual done column where we can see that, I've already this week completed 4 tickets this week, which is great given the busy week that I've got. I wouldn't remember all those things, including the very important contact counsel about the pool. I did it because I had to do it, and I'd been procrastinating about it for weeks, and it got done. And that is why this is so cool, because all of a sudden we start to get an idea of flow. Now, here's the deal. Right at the bottom here, you may not be able to quite see, but I recently reset it, but these are recordings. The 2 weeks ago, I got eight tickets done, and last week I got 12 tickets done. Now, what's super interesting about this particular experiment that I'm running is that I was able to diagnose a very important issue. I do private client consulting, and in that first week where I got 8 tickets done, I decided to schedule my client calls over a smaller amount of period, but over all the 5 days of the week. And I got 8 tickets done that week. The second week, where I got 12 tickets done, I decided to compartmentalize and then just have 2 days of private client calls where I would literally focus just on private client calls and I wouldn't do anything else. Guess what? Start less, do more. Because I wasn't task switching, because I wasn't going from private client call, and they're intense, right? I'm really using every bit of my brain to try help them build their business. To mentally switch from that to writing some copy is really hard work. And the results, 8 to 12, spoke to themselves. Now, I couldn't have done that experiment unless I was visually tracking this, because if I track that in Evernote or in anything, I just won't ever go back and look at it. It's just not me. So by having this visual, I can't avoid it. And that's what's really super cool. Now, you might note with this post-it note here, the week 2 Kanban breakdown, I put a smiley face on it. And the reason I did that was something that I really, really enjoyed doing. That was something that I absolutely enjoyed doing. And it's important, and what's great is when you move things from today to done, that's the perfect opportunity to just say, stop yourself, go, did I really enjoy that, or did it suck? Right? When I do a retrospective, when I review what's been happening, I can instantly look at those sad faces. Remember in the Today video, I asked you if somebody dumps something on you or something comes at you from out of the blue, that becomes an instant sad face ticket. So we can have a look at that. So when we go at the end of the week to do a retrospective, which we'll be covering in next week's module, because you've got to do all this part first, think about it. You know, then all of a sudden, why has that got a sad face? So, you know, I can then start to analyse, well, what sucked about that? Is there a way that I could do that better? I bet you're screaming at the camera now, giving me 14 different suggestions for better ways I could have handled that to get it off my plate, right? And that's what's beautiful about this process. By celebrating these wins and understanding it, you get a true idea of flow, and you get an idea of how many tickets, after you've been doing this for a few weeks, you get an idea of how many tickets, what your capacity is. So that will also tell you, you know, when you're making choices here, when we go back to our Mondays and you're making choices of how many tickets to pull into our ready column, like I know if I pulled 16 tickets, I'm kidding myself, right? Because I haven't done 16 tickets ever. So 6, I'm going to start with 6. Well, the reality is I've already pulled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've already had 6. These are my second 6 for the week, right? Because I think, yep, I can get this stuff done by Friday. Do you start to see the control of it? I can't wait for you to implement this because it is so powerful. Now, in the next video, I just want to go through some action points for this week's module, because we have covered an enormous amount of information, and the way for this to all absolutely stick in is for you to do this. And so I want to talk about, in the next and final video for this module, I want to talk to you about ways to implement, and I want to talk to you about like the checklist effectively of what we need to do this week to make it super effective, and most importantly, use our Facebook group so we can really help each other. All right, speak soon.